I couldn't say the word. I just could not say the word.
Which word?
The virgin. I just could not say it. I still have trouble. On a Friday night especially, you see couples going out eating together and walking along and holding hands. And I love that. And sometimes it does make me just stop and have a thoughtful moment. You know, where have I gone wrong?
Being an incel doesn't mean you're asexual and you don't want to do it. Like you. So let's just get one thing clear. You are at a stage in your life now where you're looking for sex and love and companionship. You're not.
They all go together.
Yeah, you're not a virgin because you don't like sex. So
no.
Do you walk the world not wanting to have sex? Or are you waiting for the right person, or do you wake up in the morning with an erection and think, I'd like to have sex?
No, I function, I'm a healthy male, red-blooded male. That's the best way to describe that.
So you're ready to fuck?
I had it all planned out, really, which is tough to... I couldn't have spoken about this even at Christmas. It's just... you have some dark thoughts and you plan things and you think, well, what am I going to leave behind?
Welcome back to the Dozen Podcast. So this week it'll probably be the toughest one that I've done so far in respect of my guest, because he's also a friend of mine. And we went to school together, and we didn't just go to secondary school together. We went to primary school together. The backstory is I used to live in a town, and I got politely asked to leave all of my schools that I attended. And then I moved to a new town, and I made the last year of primary school where I met my friend Stephen, and this is Stephen Kinnard, ladies and gentlemen. And we become friends. And then when we went to secondary school, we chose each other to be in each other's form. Because when you go from primary to secondary school, you get to choose one person that you'd like to be in the same form as, and this was Stephen. So today I'm going to be having a discussion with Stephen about something that is extremely sensitive. Stephen is a little bit older than me. He's approaching 44 years of age, and he's a virgin. Now, when you first contacted me, because you knew I was doing a podcast, and obviously we've had private chats about this before, and it was strictly between you and me, and I can see why it would be strictly between you and me.
Yeah.
And you contacted me and you said, Liam, you're doing a podcast. I'll be very interested in coming on, telling my story, talking about involuntary celibacy and still having my virginity intact at my age, and the problems it's caused and the damage it's done and the life you've led because of it. And the first time you contacted me, I ignored the voice note, because I thought, is this something you really want to do? I certainly don't want to encourage you come on and discuss something so intimate, and it's very heavy. It's upsetting for me to hear the story when you told me when it was just you and me. But then when you reached out for a second time, and it was in length, the voice note, I thought, okay, Stephen, deadly serious about this. She was talking about creating a page and creating awareness and sharing your story with everybody. And so then I did come back and say, okay, well, if this is something you want to do, I'm happy to have you on as a guest. It will be a pleasure. And I do know that it will help a hell of a lot of people, and it will shake the stigma, and it will set you free to a certain extent, and also open doors and avenues, because I'm sure people will watch this. They can relate, and they've never, ever, ever had the courage to say it out loud. And also people that have relationships, parents, aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters. It's like the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Still having your virginity at 44 is going to seem very rare to a lot of people, but it's also going to seem common to the people that are still virgins in their 40s. So I was happy to roll with it because you were happy to roll with it, and you were determined to go with it. I didn't want you to feel under any pressure. If anything, I felt like I was slightly pressured to do it, but I thought, you know what? If you want to do it, you're my friend, and it will make a good conversation because you're bright, you're articulate, you're very, very genuine, You're a local businessman, so you're liked within the community. You're a much nicer guy than me.
Don't know,
That's
fine.
probably the problem. So tell me how it feels, first and foremost, this present moment in time, because this has obviously been a build-up, and I'm sure there would have been moments in time where this is the last thing you would have ever spoke about to anybody, let alone to the entire internet, because who knows how many people are going to see this. This could reach millions potentially. So how are you currently feeling about being a virgin at 43 years of age?
Well, a lot better than what I did, because you could never do this if you were, say, 18 months ago, and, well, up until 18 months ago, never would have considered it. You just sit there thinking about it, and you just, well, you beat yourself up. But at the moment, I'm feeling pretty good. It's, I'm in a good place in life, you know, I've got a good business, and I've got my own place. Great clients that I see every day, and they help an enormous amount. Good friends, but yeah, I feel it's always there, but I feel good, and I just am happy to maybe get a voice. If this helps one person, or makes them feel better, then that's fine by me. But I feel pretty good at the moment, and hope to keep it that way.
Well, I'm hoping, well, I hope it helps a lot of people. Certainly the one person in particular I'd really like this to help is you, because I've never seen a podcast where anybody discusses being a virgin in their 40s ever. And before I set up this podcast, a lot of friends and family would say to me, why don't you set up a podcast? You know, I think you'd make a decent host. And I didn't even know podcasts existed. So I thought, okay, yeah, sounds good. It's just two people having a conversation, and, you know, it's honest and open, and I'm brutally honest, and I don't mind my vulnerabilities being aired and exposed. In fact, I find it quite refreshing and empowering. It helps me, and I know it helps others. And so I went down a rabbit hole with podcasts. I sat on my sofa in between running my businesses, and I sat there and I watched podcast after podcast after podcast after podcast. And I never saw one discussing virginity,
No.
incels. That's the word I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
The word incel. Now, I see it all the time.
Yeah.
I see a lot of alpha male men. It's called the manosphere, and they're set out to educate incels how to become more alpha, more attractive to females. But I've never seen an incel come and speak about being involuntarily celibate.
No.
I don't like the word incel.
No, I don't.
How do you feel about that word?
I think it's a terrible word. It's almost as bad as a racist word, you know, because it almost labels you as something. And when you see incel in print, as I first saw it in the newspapers after a tragic event, I honestly thought it was some kind of organisation. Because of the way it's printed out. For a start, it doesn't naturally look like a word. And it paints a wrong picture of it. It's right, certainly a right description, but it certainly paints a wrong picture of the bulk of that community. You know, I have touched on looking at it and reading up about it, and I think it generates hate for females to a point, because they kind of feel hard done by, ignored, hated by women. Maybe some women out there who are virgins feel the same about guys. You know, it works for both sexes, but it generates a bad feeling. I guess that's what. Do you find that?
I feel, yeah, I don't like the word at all. I think it's a nasty label. It just doesn't sound particularly pleasant.
No.
And it's funny that you say it works both ways, and there's going to be female virgins that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
And I never connected the two. I always thought an incel was a term used for a male that still has his virginity and is struggling not just to find love, but to find sex.
Yeah.
So I didn't even give it a second thought that this could be aimed at women as well. So yeah, this is for men and women. Just so happens that the story is going to be delivered by a man that is living it and breathing it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so incel. Yeah, a dirty word. And what was so you said you read an article where the word incel was used and there was an atrocious act. What was that?
It was in Plymouth, must be just over 2 years ago. There was a guy lived with his mum, and he was a bit of a loner. And one evening there, he walked around his immediate area, his neighbourhood, and I think he shot about 6 people with a shotgun, including a 3-year-old toddler who was running away with holding her father's hand. They were both running away. And they described him as an incel. It went into great depth in the paper. And of course, I mean, what could be worse? And people marry the word incel with this murderer. And that's where I first read it.
When really that's got nothing to do with how many women you've had sex with. That's, in my opinion, that's an act of terror.
Yeah.
The two don't go hand in hand.
No, well, he was what you literally read about is that he'd lock himself away in his bedroom. He had a job, he did work, but he had sort of mental issues. He was violent at school, I believe, hitting teachers and so forth. And then he got a shotgun certificate to then buy a shotgun. They took the certificate away from him because he had mental problems. And a shortish time after they handed it back to him, reissued it to him, he committed this. He shot his mum first, I believe, and went out and committed this, all because he would post things online saying how upset he was, he can't get a girlfriend, and all of the stuff that goes with that.
Do you remember his name?
I can't remember.
Can we put an article up of this story and the guy's name that committed these atrocious acts? Because I remember the story, and I also remember you telling me about it because it made you very upset because he shot one of his victims from behind. They was walking away.
A little girl and her father were running away, and he shot them both from a short distance.
Yeah. So to report that I'm just paraphrasing something that I've not read, but.
Yeah.
Just to get the context, incel goes on a shooting spree. Now the two shouldn't be married up. Now whether he's a virgin or not, the chances are he's a virgin because he's a fucking sociopath. Well, he's a psychopath. Yeah. He didn't go on a murderous rampage, killing women, his mum and children because he couldn't get laid.
No.
He couldn't get laid because he was a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
That is how it should have been told.
Yeah.
Or maybe just leave the fact that he was an incel out of it completely. But the word incel, it's now clickbait.
It's immediately in there.
It's immediately noticed because you've got the manosphere and you've got big macho men trying to teach people that struggle to get laid. They're trying to teach you how to get laid. And the thing is as well, everyone's very, very different. And what may work for one of these big macho men that think they can sleep with any woman in the world because they've got the gift of the gab, it isn't necessarily going to work for an introverted individual that works on a completely different frequency.
Yeah.
It's just not, there is no blanket technique fit for things to work. I mean, there's tricks of the trade, and you can go on the charm offensive, and you can, a lot of these, they're sort of con men, really. They'll con their way into someone's knickers. They'll promise them the world. They'll pretend they've got a job they haven't got. They'll wear a fake Rolex and pretend it's real. And they'll just use sales techniques to get them into bed. And really, do you want to be that person?
Well, no, that's the thing is I couldn't be that person. I couldn't be an alpha male for a start. If anything, I'm more of a, I think there's a sigma male definition, if you like, where you're very focused and you're just, you're kind and act like a gentleman when women are around. But yeah, on social media, I went on a dating site once, years ago, and all I saw on there was, and I knew some of the people. I mean, you look on there, and this just shows what it's like, because you go on there, and there were people I knew locally who were married, and they were on a dating site. Yeah, you know, and they do give everyone on there's a model, everyone on there's an entrepreneur, some kind of action man, just because they went rock climbing once or something like that. So yeah, you know, and they could have been 2 feet up for all you know, holding a rope, leaning backwards. It's just, that's the whole thing, and I think it's worse now probably than what it was then, because Instagram wasn't so prominent, I guess. But it is and people like that guy that shot those people, he would be totally taken in by anything that's fed to him from the alpha male community. Yeah, I would say definitely, and that has a lasting effect. And of course, we all know how things. You think of something, or you're brought up to believe something, and you kind of indoctrinate yourself, if that's right. It gets stamped on your memory, it develops, and then before you know it, that's your whole way of thinking.
Absolutely, yeah. If you read or hear something enough on repeat, that becomes your truth.
Yeah,
that becomes your truth, no matter what paper. If you're reading a left-wing newspaper day in day out, because somebody introduced you to it, and you never change flavour, you're going to believe that's the way the world works. And same if you're reading a right-wing newspaper, it makes no odds. You know and people tend to believe what they read. Yeah. Words are very, 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 very powerful in written format and verbal. So it's a hard one to decide what you're going to absorb when you're reading something. Do I take that on board? I suppose it comes down to free thinking and actually thinking for yourself, taking snippets of everything around you and thinking, well, between all of this mishmash bias information I'm getting, this is the bit that makes sense to me, maybe a little bit of it all. So what would make, not what would make sense to you, let me put it another way. When you said that you're a Sigma male.
Yes.
SIGMA.
Yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't have heard that phrase. No. And you described it as being hardworking, kind, helpful, an old school gentleman.
Yeah, old school, I would say.
Is there any more meaning around that word Sigma for people that have never even heard that term?
Well, I found it on YouTube. You know, 'cause, when you feel a bit low, you start hunting around for a bit of support, and you know, we all do, don't we? Or watch a movie you like or something. And I guess Sigma was on my YouTube feed. It came through quite a bit back there about 2 years ago, and it's described. They don't give a lot away initially. Rather than telling everybody your goals, they'd just get on with it. That would be the way. They listen. And a lot of the YouTube videos, and I would urge anyone who's in my position, the males mainly, of course, is to research this. It made me feel better, because I thought, well, these guys are, you know, they come across as very kind of in control, leveled, you know, they're very consistent in their habits, or portrayed to be. And I just could relate to it. And it wasn't, and when they take ladies out, or you're on a date, they make sure they listen, attentive. Whereas, of course, you mentioned the alpha male. I guess it's a bit more of an overbearing kind of. They rely on that, which, you know, it doesn't make them a bad person, but it's just not me. And I guess, can you ever describe someone who is like me as an alpha male? Well, they wouldn't be in the position in the first place. If you're a virgin, you can't be. I don't think you can be an alpha male, in a way.
Well, this is what blows my mind about you, because you have got alpha qualities and tendencies, because you're a leader. No one pays your wages. Nobody gives you a pay slip every month. You lead from the front. You run your own business. You have people that work underneath you, people that lean on you for advice, for structure, for leadership, for strength. So in order to be able to pass that down, you have to have those qualities. And you're also, I mean, on paper, you tick all the boxes. You are a gentleman. You are very polite. You are very courteous. You are very traditional. You are very old school. You're a very, very nice person. I've never heard you badmouth anybody. When you've come round for dinner before, you extremely polite and grateful to my missus when she's cooked us a lovely roast dinner, and you refer to women as ladies. I mean, you've got people on the internet in the manosphere. They refer to women as bitches.
Yeah,
bitch this, bitch that, bitches, birds. I mean, I'm guilty of calling them birds, but I don't mean anything by it at all. But you are traditional, and you are the kind of guy that will open the door. We'll pull a seat back so a lady can, and you do call them ladies, that can sit down, and you'll tuck them in and you'll ask them about their day and you'll listen, and you are very attentive, and you do monopolize the listening as opposed to the talking. I've seen it firsthand, and I've seen that you're charming and you've got a very good brain on you academically, and you've got a hell of a lot of common sense. And you look a little bit like Clark Kent. So it's I mean, it blows my mind how you've never, excuse the phrase, managed to sink the pink.
No, well, it's the same with me, Liam. I just, that's why you almost sit down when you have a bit of a bad day thinking about it, or evening, whatever. Well, what am I doing wrong? You see, and you're not, because there's nothing wrong about it. It's not by choice. It's not a religious choice to be what I am. And around me, I've seen when we went to school together, I think we were, fair to say, quite a promiscuous year.
Blimey, yeah.
We were quite bad. Well, it was an all-round bad year. Nice people, but we had a reputation. And I think our form certainly had a reputation.
Everyone was fucking everyone.
Yeah, and I mean, and of course
you were just bearing your time.
I was just sitting there, sitting back. But I thought it was great, and I would have, if I'd had the chance and the opportunity had come about, then yeah, of course I would have done. And the same thing, but I don't think you left any room for anyone, Liam. It's just
no, my missus is going to watch this.
Yeah, I know. I just think
no.
You were just you were charming, and it was.
I done all right with the ladies when I was younger, believe it or not. This short bald bloke that you're watching on the internet.
No, I think it was at that stage. It was verbal charm, because we were what, even 12 and that you had the charm there, but it's just
I wasn't sleeping with people at 12 for the record.
Absolutely no. I mean, it's,
but I've always enjoyed talking to people and building communities, and
very good communicator, and orator. Very.
I've always enjoyed company. And when I was younger, I enjoyed male company, female company, and I was always, very much like you. I was raised by two women, so I've always been respectful of women.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what done me a very good turn when I was courting, when I was sort of in my late teens. And you say about our year being promiscuous now. I mean, can you imagine what it's like now?
I don't know. You read different conflicting things, but. Yeah, I can imagine it's.
Don't forget, kids are now watching TikTok. They're watching Instagram.
Yeah.
They're watching their role models shake their ass for likes and views.
Well, this is the thing. You hear young lads who are sort of 14 and 15, whatever, and they're treating their girlfriends like porn stars, which I find quite upsetting, because they've seen it on the.
Yeah, it's a ship. Do you know what? That's that's for someone who hasn't slept with a single woman, you certainly got a good grasp on what's going on out there.
And no men. I'd just like to clear that up.
No men. Yeah, so if there's any men look like trying to prey on him to be the first, you're out of luck. But yeah, and I couldn't be any more anti treating women like porn stars if I tried. If you're going to engage in an intimate act, make sure it's intimate.
Yeah.
Make love to them. Make it count, make it special. I know when you're a young lad and you're full of testosterone and you go into Ibiza for a week, of course, you're going to go out there and rack your numbers up. But once you've become a man and you've lost all your insecurities, because that's all it is, if you're going out to sleep with multiple women, it's your ego doing the fucking. Yeah. It's not your heart, it's not your soul. And I think you got to get to a certain age where a sexual, physical act, it has to mean something, otherwise it's soulless, and it will leave you empty, and it will leave you just as lonely as if you hadn't had a physical partner.
That's it. I mean, that's the important thing to say is that I've seen, especially as we're older now, and we've seen friends and people we know that have had relationships, sometimes quite a few, sometimes not many, but they've had children, they've had a marriage, divorce, they've gone through the whole lot. It's I find that the people that just go out there and, it's one after the other, whether it's men or women, they don't seem any happier. I mean, it's almost looking for support when they do. I mean, to me, with everything, almost everything is like, you only need one good one. I think that about like maybe a car I buy or something like that. But growing up the way I did, I was mum and dad. They're still married after nearly 50 years, and I've got two sisters and a younger brother. And so, growing up with young girls in the house, you kind of learn to respect their privacy a bit. They like their privacy, and that's understandable. And you just get to know what they're going through when they're turning into a teenager and a woman. So respect comes from that.
And take me back to I'm glad you touched base on your childhood. Take me back to it. So you're from a council estate, same as me.
Yeah.
So in East Grinstead, West Sussex.
Yeah. Not
too far from Gatwick Airport. So you're born and raised on a council estate. Your parents, they're both together. So you've got brothers and sisters. So you're part of a fully functional family. There's love in the house. There's men and women in the house. So you've got the full spectrum. You've got the full dynamic.
Yeah.
And there was no drama in the house. There was no abuse in the house. It was just a normal family, full of love, what you'd expect.
Yeah.
And we just need to work out how we've got to a stage where someone like you hasn't managed to make love to someone yet,
or have a relationship, which is the thing. Even to have a loving relationship, which leads on to that. But I'm flummoxed, Liam.
Have you thought, where does it? Because a lot of things stem from like the first 7 years of your life. They tend to mold you for the rest of your days. What you're taking in subconsciously, unconsciously, it does have an everlasting impact.
Yeah.
And was there anything that you saw, even outside of the family, that you can remember that you think could have hindered your ability to have a relationship with a female?
Nothing. No, because I've always I love women. I respect women. Love spending time in their company. So no, nothing like that. But it's funny to say the first 7 years are the really formative years for any human being. And it was when I was 6. I remember it quite clearly. Primary school. I was in assembly, and a teacher was reading a story. We all sat there, as you do, a couple of hundred of us. I was always a nervous kid, and so it wasn't a natural thing to go to school and be away from home. So I was always nervous, and one day it just hit. I had to get out of that assembly hall, and I stood up, said to the teacher, I feel sick. And she was a bit old school. She did, scowl a bit, because it wasn't done then. If they did it now, it'd be like you'd have about 2 or 3 teachers in the room for a start, not one holding court to 300 kids. And I had to go out and went and sat in a cloakroom. And that was when I was 6.
So 6 years of age. Are you saying that you was overwhelmed with anxiety at 6?
Yeah, it was anxiety, and I was always, nervous. So it was like a panic attack.
As young as 6, wow.
Yeah.
Because it's only recently where people are openly talking about mental health.
Yeah.
Anxiety, depression, bipolar, social anxiety, panic attacks.
Yeah.
Fear of the unknown. So at 6 years of age, so we're talking nearly 40 years ago.
Yeah.
37 years ago.
Yeah.
It was unheard of.
Yeah.
So how would a 6-year-old be able to verbalize to anybody, let alone an adult, that they're feeling fear and trepidation and they're scared, but they can't put their, because anxiety, I don't know about you, but I've had my fair share of anxiety. Mine was drug induced, because obviously because of my dad.
Yeah.
But How do you make sense of something that you're scared of, but you don't really know what it is you're scared of?
You don't. It made you even worse. It made me even worse because it was just leading up to the summer holidays, fortunately. So it was a summer term. And that's the trouble having a photographic memory. You just remember everything and where and when. But it just, I could not wait for that summer holiday to come. You couldn't turn to anybody. You'd say you felt sick. So I went to the cloakroom, and obviously a teacher saw me there, and then you'd sit there and they'd bring the sick bowl out like they used to. I guess they still do. And the teacher sat with me, but I was never ill. I just felt sick.
Yeah.
And so
Sick with fear.
So yeah, it was. It was in the you'd need the toilet, you'd feel sick, both at the same time, and so that went on those few weeks before the end of term there, and Mum was up to school. It was like, what's wrong with him, and all of that, but no one really knew. I didn't know, so I just say I felt sick. So of course they just think you have a couple of days off school, you got a stomach bug.
So you masked how you really felt.
Yeah.
So as opposed to putting your hands up saying, "Hey, I'm scared and I don't know what I'm scared about," you just pretended you had a stomach bug. And
yeah, I can pick it out from. I know someone who's had the same thing with their children, and you've seen it, and it's about the same age, little. And I just knew what that was straight away. And I said, this will either go quick or it will last for years. And no one will be able to do anything about it apart from him or her.
And how did you? So you'd then have the summer holidays.
Yeah.
And you'd go and work with your dad on the farm.
Well, yeah, because I was only a nipper, but I just used to be out there. And of course, out there, you can lose yourself. And you're around my nan, who I absolutely, like yourself, I absolutely adored my nan and granddad. But especially my nan, what a lovely lady. I mean, just a lovely face. And she was a proper nan where she was cuddly, short, cuddly, had the short grey hair, not the purple rinsed, but just how women had. She was a war generation. And so
different breed.
And granddad was the same. And
was she evacuated?
She was too old for that. She was a lady during the war, so she was right in the thick of it. Fire watch on the rooftops in Worthing at night, and working on the land in the day. My granddad was sent away, so we were working on the land, and of course, around tractors and vehicles, and just being outside, physical activity, and that was what I think helped me. I wouldn't say I'd work the same as a man at that age, but certainly by the age of 11, I would work to a man's rate. Physical exertion would calm you down.
Yeah, the great outdoors as well, which is very calming. And I always remember you as being a grafter. I remember you even from when we was 10 years of age, that you would go and work with your dad on the farm, and it would be physical labor.
Yeah.
You would actually be working and be grafting. And I never stopped to think for one second that that could be your way of blocking out anxiety or panic.
Yeah.
I just assumed that it was in your bones, that you was which I think it is in your bones.
It is when you're brought up like that in a farming family. It is, because
you haven't stopped working and grafting up until this very present moment.
Still enjoying it, and still enjoying it down there. We're not growing anymore, but I enjoy it, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to being down there tomorrow, because it's just when you have these dark days, there's nothing. I can shut this out. This whole topic today, I can shut it out when I'm down there, and I don't like to. If someone phones that I don't want to talk to, I won't answer. I just shut myself off down there. The only people I talk to is my dad or the customers, because everyone has to have that place. It's just a happy place.
Their safe place.
But it's just, this whole topic stems from back then in those primary school days, just being nervous. And then when I became a teenager, I didn't avoid them at school. I didn't avoid the girls at school. We had some very good looking girls in my form and in the year. And I enjoyed it when we went to athletics with them, and I would be relaxed talking. The only place I would be relaxed talking to to girls was on the athletics field, because we would be out there, trying to do our best together. You were
Outdoors again.
too busy thinking about your event to be trying to crack onto her or whatever. So that was for me in that environment. Yes, I was very relaxed around them. But when we started to get into the ages where we could go out night clubbing or going out a bit later, I would freeze up. I would just lock up. I was great. I had some great mates and still got the same ones. They were good-looking guys. The two very good mates are both 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", dark-haired, good-looking guys. They never had any trouble.
You're definitely not talking about me here.
You were on your own league somewhere else, mate.
Yeah.
No, I just think that we were, and it's funny to say our year was promiscuous. It's just that I just stood back and watched this, and I wasn't ready at that stage.
And it's funny because just before I mention how more developed you were at school than any other lad at the time, because you had muscles before anybody, you had armpit hair. I remember you had a donut of pubic hair around your cock and balls before anybody else.
Yeah.
And I was very envious. I was like, fucking hell, Steve, you've got a good patch of pubic hair there. Like, where's mine?
9 years old, I started puberty. I think it was so. Yeah.
So yes, it's not like you was a late developer.
No.
You had the pubic patch, you had the armpit hair, you had the muscles. And you used to, I'm going to flick back and forth now because there's a few things I want to touch base on. But when we was at primary school, you was always into muscles and weightlifting, and you used to have your Jaguar
Holdall, yeah.
You had your Holdall, the leather old school one. I think it was green.
Yeah, British Racing.
And but you would put hardback books in the bottom to make it like
heavier,
strenuous to carry your bag to work on your strength. So you was always into strengthening your body, conditioning your body, and then you got into the gym in later years to sculpt your body. Yeah. And you had the best physique from a young age. You was physically more developed at a young age. There was just obviously something that, and it must go back to confidence because go back to incels very quickly. Another thing that incels get labelled with is hatred towards women. And I've seen that many, many times.
Yeah.
It's like people, it's not the fact that they hate women, that they're not having sex with women. It's because they can't have sex with women because they don't know how to play that game. They don't know how to play the mind chess with a woman, because with a woman, men are visually stimulated, and women are mentally stimulated. So it's a case of, to get into a woman's knickers, you've really got to get into their head, to get into their heart, then to get in their knickers. There's obviously an exception to the rule that just absolutely loves swinging off the pole, but they're not the sort of woman that you want to engage or certainly encounter a sexual experience with. And going back to the incels being branded as women haters, you've stated you love women, you enjoy their company, you enjoyed speaking to them on sports day. You speak very well of your mum. You just touched base about your nan. She had a lovely face. She was old school. So there's only love for women. So you love women, you respect them, you enjoy their company.
I do. I think they're brilliant in the fact that they have it. They do have it harder than men as well, because growing up seeing, my mum was pregnant. She had 4 of us, so it seems she was always pregnant. And the fact is that she went through a lot to get us here. My sisters who were growing up, they went through a lot of changes when they become from a girl to a woman. And now when you get to dating age, I mean, look how much effort a woman puts in to a night out, a date, for instance. Let's go with a date. They met someone online and they're going for a date, they're going for dinner or a drink. They spend hours getting ready. Not because they need to, because they got to cover up a lot and put on a fake sort of image, but it's just that's what they do. They've got to choose the outfit. They're probably doing that 2 days out. The guy comes home from work, got a date tonight, he has a shower, a shave sometimes, and throws on the jeans, shirt, white trainers, off he goes. And that's him done. And she's made all this effort. And they go through a lot, women do. Then they get judged by the guy because the guy's going on looks all the time. And so they've got to feel like they look like that, look their best, often to be just thoroughly let down. And some of them, or they've developed into a relationship where they're treated badly and they just go with it. And it defies me. I've always thought that.
They accept it as the norm. And the pressure for women, although equal measures, there's now extreme pressure on men. Social media, you're looking at airbrushed, filtered pictures, morning, noon, and night on your news feed, which is why it's very careful who you follow. If someone, and a lot of time you're looking at people for inspiration, actually they're just deflating you and demotivating you, because you're never going to be that person, because even the person that's inspiring you, they're portraying themselves as something they're not even. It's all a load. It's all a fugazi. It's all nonsense.
It's built on sand.
Completely. Yes, it's all. There's so much bollocks out there. There's so much false information, and there's so many people pretending to be something they're not to impress other people, and now inspire other people, and now monetize their account from pretending to be something they're not. I mean, fucking hell. I mean, no wonder mental health is completely and utterly off the chart.
Very much.
Going back to you. So you've grown up in a house where there's men and women. So you've seen the hormonal change. You've been around your sisters when they started puberty and their period started. And so there'd be mood swings and there'd be monthly cycles, and your mum and dad are together. So you've got a very good grasp of females.
Fully rounded.
And you admire, respect, and acknowledge, and you appreciate females. You can tell you just rattled off, the effort they make to go out on a date. So it's not like you're completely oblivious to the female species, which why it baffles me that
it's the confidence from it stems from somewhere, and of course then you beat yourself up, which I did. I was always okay. I was okay academically, yes, but then again, it's the same with every child. Is good in something. I was good in history. I wish I was better at maths. And I used to beat myself up about maths, not being good at this and not being good at that. And then say back in the old days, teachers would, for Christ's sake, how many times do I have to show you? That's how they could be back then.
Well, you couldn't say that now.
No, they could do it then. Or they'd get frustrated. And so you get your confidence knocked. And I would say that yes, just the reason I am still the way I am stems from that. And I think for anyone listening here, is the same thing, is that if I can say the most important thing today would be look after yourself, find one thing that you're interested in or that makes you happy, providing it's legal, and doing you some good, is find something that you're good at. Everyone can do it. Get on the internet, research a hobby, research something, and then that would be a step forward
to build your confidence.
If I'd had YouTube, Google back in the day, I would have been a lot more confident in certain things, maybe. But I had hobbies. That were, I was always quite good at physical things like the sports. And
you was good at shot put?
Shot put, discus, still hold the record in East Grinstead, I think under 17s or something. But it's just, we're physically fine, never a big team player. Not that I was a loner, it's just that I wanted to prove things to myself, hence as soon as I could get as soon as I was allowed weights, which is why I put books in my bag, because I wasn't allowed to go and buy weights.
I've never ever, and I tell people that story. A friend of mine, he was so into bodybuilding that he used to put hardback books in his hodl to make it heavier.
Yeah, and then when I got to 13, off on Saturday morning, I'd saved up enough. Parents, bless them, very hand to mouth. We didn't have anything. I had to buy it myself. Went and bought a 32 kilogram set. Trained at home after school, get the bench out, get it all out, pack it all away. Mum was very sort of patient with that. But I was okay at it, and I stuck at it. You see, when I get a hobby, I stick to it. I don't dance around.
Well, when we was younger, you were the best weightlifter, bodybuilder, whatever you want to whatever you want to call it. I mean, you never went to compete, and you never took
No.
steroids, even in the gym where everyone else was taking them.
No,
You stayed clean, but you stayed in shape, and you was bigger and more defined than anybody else. So you're also dedicated. When you commit to something, you hyper focus and you get stuck into it.
I would say that that's probably a trait of someone who's a bit of an introvert. Again, maybe the Sigma touch. But I would say that this is guessing, but any other male or female that's like me out there, that they probably are quite, when they're into something, they're into it because they don't have any distractions. You see, I don't have a distraction of, well, we've got to go out so-and-so tonight, we're having dinner with so-and-so, or I'm going on a date. Absolutely petrified I would be of going on having a date night or going on serial dates. It would just be, so I focus on other things. Fortunately, nowadays my work is antisocial hours, but I love my work. So I'm out working, whereas normally you'd be out. I'd be sitting at home, and that's where it would play on your mind. But don't get me wrong. I think love's an important thing there. So I love women. I think they're beautiful creatures, although creature's not a word. Beautiful creation. And there's nothing I like more than seeing where I clean offices and shops and so forth. Is in our town, is on a Friday night especially, you see couples going out eating together and walking along and holding hands. And I love that. And sometimes it does make me just stop and have a thoughtful moment. Where have I gone wrong?
It must be, I mean, it must be very, very hard. And it must feel very lonely without intimacy in your life. And people that can relate will relate, and they will feel that stabbing wound that's always there, no doubt. But also people out there that are in a relationship with a partner that loves them, that caresses them, that strokes their head at night to get them to sleep. It's important that they also take something from this podcast, like not to take that for granted, because there's someone out there that would give their right arm to be in your shoes, to get their head stroked, just to have a cuddle, just to have someone make them a cup of tea, just to have someone ask them how they are in the morning. And I think so many couples are out there clashing and arguing over trivial things that don't really matter, when really they're utterly blessed to have each other.
That's such a good point, because you so often see people out there that are maybe in a relationship, but you can, from knowing them or seeing it before, it's not quite right. One person's always putting in more than the other, and one of them doesn't know how good they've got it. Right? What's the saying? You don't know what you've got until it's gone. Well, I've never had that. We're not just talking about the sex, but it's just the connection. Well, I have loved. I have loved, so I know how that feels. But it's stopped at a certain level. It's on a friendship level.
You can escalate it to an intimate level.
That's the thing. It's never moved on. But then that's all you need, is that snippet there, and you see, whether you've been married 50 years or just started dating, that's all you need, is that little moment there.
And that taste of love that you've had, and we won't go into the individual, but we can confirm that you have been in love with somebody. The fact that you felt that love and that warmth and that connection at the time, even though there was no sex involved, does that give you the desire to search for love and intimacy even more so, because you know that it's there, it's within touching distance?
Yeah, I mean, it does, but it put you off for a long time because you just got, it wasn't anyone's fault. It hurt. And I think anyone it doesn't matter if you're celibate or married or in a relationship, love is such a dangerous thing. It's a powerful thing. I think I said to someone once, I can't believe that something that's meant to be so nice can be so painful.
Well, there's somebody that we went to school with, I won't mention his name, and we're both very fond of him, and you may or may not know this, but years ago, he's got a fabulous physique as well, really looks after himself, really, really, really good guy. And he pulled up his top one day and he had a tattoo, and I'm talking a massive, great tattoo emblazoned all across his waist
Right.
in letters that big. And it read, "Love is pain."
Right.
And at the time, because we were very young, old enough to have a tattoo, but still, we're
Well, how old were we?
we're 43 now. So even when someone's 18, 19, 20, that still seems young to me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really understand what he meant at the time.
No.
Love is pain. And it was only when I laid with my nan as she laid there motionless when she'd passed and we were waiting for the coroner to get there, that I realised that love is pain. And then, when there's been times there's been one time in particular, which I won't go into, where my heart felt like it was completely shattered, where I thought I'd lost somebody else. And that reaffirmed that love is pain and, a bereavement you can't help. But if you have got love, it really isn't worth risking losing that out of stubbornness or ego or whatever reason, because that warm, fluffy, lovey-dovey feeling can soon turn to irreversible pain that you could possibly never, ever recover from. So nurture your relationships, nurture the people that you love, and fucking tell them, and just say sorry sometimes. Diffuse a situation that could lead to terrible, tremendous pain.
Well, that's what I would say to anyone who's in my position, is to, if they got family, which most of them have, or a friend, man or woman, a mate, is have them around and keep them around. But when you're feeling down and bad, and if you haven't said anything about it yet, and you're feeling, they love you because they're your family or you're a friend. On that level, talk to them, I would say. I did. And it helped me with the pain I had. I remember the first person I told, and I was 33 years old. And great person. And I told them exactly. And I couldn't say the word. I just could not say the word.
Which word?
The virgin. I just could not say it. I still have trouble. She finished it for me, and bless her, she never judged.
She went urging.
No, I mean, it was, I was going through a bad patch, and I was just, it's funny because at that age, through my 20s, it was on your mind, but it never really had much of an impact. You're busy, you're going out, you're finding your feet in work, you're finding your way in life still. And I had enough to keep me busy, but friends started getting married, couple moved away, work, etc. I did start to feel a bit like I was on my own. And when I got to 30, it hit. It was almost like an alarm. It suddenly hit 30, bang.
A bit like a female's body clock. If they've not had a baby, it's like, shit, time is ticking.
Another thing I respect women for is that they've got a clock we haven't, and so that's another pressure. But
I have in this day and age, Stephen, there's a fair few females with a clock. And it's being rammed down our throats as well.
Yeah, let's hope that I don't come across that. But no, it is. So the word was difficult.
Before you were 30, Steve. So 33, you spoke about this to somebody. So I was going to say come out the closet, but that would be a terrible phrase. You opened up about your celibacy. Before you was 30, even we can go back to 6 years of age, you were paralyzed with nervousness, anxiety, and that carried on, it sounds to me, throughout school. When we met when I was 10, I would never have noticed it. I just thought you was a grafter, a family man, loyal to your own. I had massive respect for that. My nan was very fond of you as well, and she was the love of my life. So that brings a nice connection for the two of us. And then secondary school, you was very sporty, very clever. You was always my clever friend, because obviously academically I was shit. In fact, I don't even know. I'll tell you how I got through school. I got through school by having a fucking good laugh. I mean, I had a whale of a time every day. But is there any particular moments in time before you fell in love? Was there any moments that you can remember and pinpoint, because you've got a photographic memory, where you was rejected by somebody?
Quite often. Yeah.
Talk to me about rejection.
The rejection was, and it was never in a bad way. It was never in a bad way. It was never like, no, gee, not interested in you, for Christ's sake. It was always a nice letdown because I chose the nice girls to ask, I guess, and it was always because I didn't actually ask anyone out until I was probably early 20s. So they'd been around. I wouldn't say around the block, but they'd had relationships and experienced the thing. But you'd find you get the similar excuses on the couple of times that I did ask, that it would be, well, I'm not quite ready. One I liked who had just come out of a relationship they'd had since they were about 18, and she was in her early 20s. She was like, I'm not really ready for a relationship. And then the next thing, you turn your back and she's in a relationship. So that did nothing for my confidence and made me look at what I'd done wrong. And another time it was just I'm not really interested in a relationship at the moment, and she wasn't, and she didn't. But then you see them move on, and I didn't see her anymore, but because she moved away. But that was fine. And rejection only slammed me down, and I reckon it's probably the same for anyone listening and watching this. Is that you have those setbacks, and I would kind of go back into under my rock for a bit, what's the word? Back into my own little bubble.
Yeah.
And just carry on the way I was with my friends, my hobbies, my work. And it would take a long time to come back again. So you're talking periods of 3 or 4 years here before I'd even maybe ask someone else if they'd like to go for a drink or show an interest.
Oh, wow. So when you got rejected, that knocked you for 6. Just
badly.
One rejection knocked your confidence for 6.
Yes, it did, because I did everything I thought was right. I did it the right way, and probably spent most of that period in between scratching my head, thinking, what did I do wrong? How do I change this? But then, of course, you are who you are, and if you're a quiet, fairly nervous person, or just a bit low key, it's difficult to go out there and attract the attention of somebody. Or
so you didn't practice hard enough. You didn't train hard enough, because if David Beckham was to practice 3 kicks once every 3 years, he wouldn't make the squad.
No.
And so by you taking rejection as heavy as you did, and affecting you the way it did, you then went back in under your rock into your own bubble, and then didn't approach anybody else again for 3 years. The longer you leave something, the bigger it becomes, and all of a sudden it becomes a thing.
Yeah.
And it may not have been a thing if you'd have just gone, okay, right, fair enough, next, like a door-to-door salesman. And sometimes, certainly when we were younger, you would treat going out on the pool as a numbers game.
Yeah.
Because when you're 18, you're not looking for a soulmate. No. You're looking for someone to go home and roll around with.
Yeah.
But you had old school. You was old before your time.
Yeah,
so
that's the trouble, isn't it? Yeah, that's the trouble. Is that I was looking at it. I mean, when I was at school, secondary school, I remember I fancied someone who was in the 6th form, and I was only 14, I think, 13 or 14, and I liked older women for years. I know a lot of young guys, it's the kind of trophy. You go for an older woman, see one, and sometimes I did manage to go out and pull an older woman, but that's all it was during that time in that nightclub or the bar. I never went any further. But yeah, certainly there's that aspect. Is a bit older before my years, so maybe I was punching above my weight with the women I asked.
Or maybe you was taking a different approach, because an 18-year-old woman at the time were used to a stereotypical 18-year-old bloke. Hello, darling, how you doing? Fucking get your coat, you've pulled. We're going back to my house, and I'm gonna, tell them how great they are in the sack.
Yeah.
And they're used to words like that. Whereas, you're coming to approach, hello, sweetheart. I must say you look tremendously well tonight.
Yeah.
Do you fancy a drink?
It was.
They'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. No, it was definitely very much like, would you like to go out for a drink tonight? And or would you meet up sometime? It was done the right way. No, no, so old school. It was cringeworthy. It was no, I can't do the whole sweetheart thing. I still can't. There's only one lady that I had the love for, that I loved. It's the only person the only woman I've ever called love or sweetheart or poppet. I can't do that with anyone. I haven't done that with anyone since, and I didn't before.
Well, pet names they're intimate.
Well, that's it, and I mean it was a friendship, but yeah, it just. I mean, you call your mum sometimes calls you poppet, or it certainly did back in the day. It was a phrase used a lot, but you say to even your female friends, other female friends, go, "Oh, I love her, sweetheart." I just can't do that. I can't do it, and I had a bad, you love someone and then it's not right, and nothing happens. It just jolted me so bad. I can't use that. I won't use that phrase again. So yeah.
No, well, save the phrase for someone where the love is reciprocated, and by then it'll be a new phrase because they remind you of something else. Maybe not pop it. They may remind you of a sunset, or I don't know.
Yeah,
the beach you fucked trying to got sand under your foreskin. Who knows? You might call her Sandy.
It's yeah. I mean, but it's all in the mind. It's just what you've got to do, and it doesn't matter what sort of personality you are. What you've got to do, and that's where the guys and girls out there who are in my position, they probably know that. So you sort of hit a ceiling. It's like, yeah, I know what I've got to do. It's just. I mean, I horse ride, did horse ride, had motor horse, played a bit of polo, more the stick and ball and games, but I was out there charging about.
And you get a lot of women around horses, didn't you?
Yeah, and it's a dangerous game. I didn't give a shit about the danger side of anything. Like I've been rock climbing, I've abseiled off the side of things for charity. Very little thought for my own safety. So bravery is there for that.
And women like danger.
Yeah, but as for walking up to somebody asking, you might as well have just asked me to jump out of an airplane without a parachute. It's just, I don't know. It's just a fear factor comes over.
Okay, so the thought of approaching a woman and engaging in flirtation.
Yeah.
Because it has to start somewhere. You can't just walk up to a stranger and say, "My name's Stephen. Fancy a bit of sex." They think you're a fucking madman and you get arrested.
Yeah.
So you've got to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
You've got to read the body language. You've got to make the eye contact. You've got to make that linger. You've got to say sort of personal things. Then you've got to flirt. I mean, there's a fucking great big process to it all. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. No. And I certainly wouldn't want to go through that again. I'm very happy that I'm with somebody I love and I haven't ever got to go and do that nonsense again. It scares me.
Yeah, I mean,
it makes me feel nervous.
Yeah.
So
imagine trying to go and do what we did there when there's probably a bunch of other guys after the same girl, and it's almost that's. And I'm kind of glad that, and I would say again, if it's inspirational or makes your day better, think of this: is that we're at an age, if you are an older virgin, is that we're at an age where a lot of water's gone under the bridge for a lot of people. They've had the dramas, they've had the upsets, they've had the children, been treated badly, hit around, whatever. A lot of that for them by this age is gone, and they are really looking for somebody that is going to be
a steady Eddie.
Steady, secure, whether man or woman. Appreciate your time together, and I've seen people that are remarried when they're 50. Remarried once, maybe sometimes twice, but it's definitely once, and they're happier the second time round. It's all a little bit more relaxed, and they realise life's too short to be going through what they maybe have done before. And I never wanted that to happen in the first place. My parents didn't yell and bawl at each other and used to play fight on a Sunday afternoon. If we're in the garden, my dad throw her in the paddling pool. It was kind of fun like that. And that's how I saw things panning out. And that's how I tried to start from the very start when you approached someone, with that. Maybe I was planning ahead too much, and that's the thing. You can almost script it, try and script it.
I think back in the day, your approach was it was a generation out.
Yeah, even then even when we were that age, 18, 19, well, I was 20.
We was more like 30, weren't we?
Yeah, and it was totally different then. Even we didn't have a girl would when you were chatting to women that you would dance together, you would have a chat, and a conversation would last longer than 20 seconds before they didn't have a phone to look at, so they were looking at you, and also from that inside here came. Feelings, emotions, but proper, more genuine
authentic ones.
Yeah, authentic.
Organic emotions that you could feel that would permeate between the two of you, and you could feel it in your chest. So being an incel doesn't mean you're asexual and you don't want to do it like you. So let's just get one thing clear. You are at a stage in your life now where you're looking for sex and love and companionship. You're not.
They all go together.
Yeah, you're not a virgin because you don't like sex. So
no.
Let's talk about sexual urges. So the female that you fell in love with, did you lust after her? Did you desire after her?
No, because the thing is, it's
Well, the thought of ripping her clothes off and putting your cock inside her never crossed your mind.
No, it's because when you've grown to know someone before you fall in love, which happened, is you don't. I couldn't possibly. I would have felt terrible thinking that in the first instance because it almost insulted them. I mean, when you think something in your mind, no one else knows what you're thinking. Although, and I just didn't.
Would you find it insulting if a female looked at you and thought, I'd like him inside me? Would you find that insulting? Would you find it flattering?
Yeah, flattering. Yeah, definitely flattering. But I guess that again, it comes down to how you are as a person, maybe your upbringing to a point. I kept, and love to me is love and lust, as we know, are two totally different things. So I think the thing is when I felt love is that it came along. It sounds
like it wasn't the kind of love that A, would have lasted, or B, was an actual love at all. Because if you really, really love a female, you want to be intimate with them. You want to lay inside them and feel them there. So that you want to be as close to them as humanly possible.
Yeah, I guess
you don't get closer than being inside somebody.
No.
So I suppose what I'm trying to find out is,
yes, I guess to answer your question.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out your sexual desires. Do you walk the world not wanting to have sex? Or are you waiting for the right person, or do you wake up in the morning with an erection and think, I'd like to have sex?
No, I function. I'm a healthy male, red-blooded male. That's the best way to describe that.
So you're ready to fuck?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I'm. That's the thing is that I guess as we're going back, I started developing quite young, and so that's probably where I was looking at. You'd see older girls.
What do you mean developing young?
Like we said I started puberty quite young, and so
developing. Yes. You did physically. Physically, totally. Yeah.
So there, from that, I was more attracted to, I never gave anyone who was up until the age of 15, my own age, I never gave them the time of day like that. But yeah, so the urges have been there. Okay, you know what it's all about.
That's what I'm trying to ascertain.
No.
Are your sexual urges there? Do you look at somebody that you're attracted to and you think, I would like to slide inside you?
That's a confusion with incel and sometimes sexuality is you do get these. Is it you say asexual where they're not interested?
Just not interested.
Yeah, I mean
you're not asexual.
Not asexual at all. No. So it goes back to the whole mystifying thing of why I'm sitting here now talking about this. Is that I could keep it to myself. But I'm not on here for myself particularly. It's just the whole trapped feeling that you get, and I'm sure that the others, other people in my community get, of just having urges.
So you have the desire.
You have the desire, and if, and isn't it, it's a bad thing when we have a desire to to love, to go on holiday. We have a desire to have a good job. All those things, you know, I mean, I can do that. I've done that. I've a desire to have my own place. I've just done that.
Which you now have.
And that they're not easy things to obtain, really, especially this day and age. The buying your own place was a tough thing. Starting your own business,
Yes, but
as you know,
you've done a lot of things that are very, very, very respectable and admirable, and you tick a lot of boxes for what a woman wants. A man who's accountable,
Yeah.
that's reliable, that's affectionate, that's loyal, that holds their own, that provides, that strives. I mean, you tick all the boxes, and you're a gentleman. So I don't think it's going to be long until your desires are fulfilled.
No.
and they're going to be a lucky woman, because I'd imagine that when you do fall in love and you slip inside the right human being and you connect at that level that you've never experienced before, I'd imagine you're going to love harder than most men will love, because it's just going to be so organic and, well, it's going to be special.
It is, and I'm aware that I need to be careful at the same time in the fact that you can shower someone with feelings and love too much, which, you know, I've probably been guilty of in the past. It's whether you, because you think it's the right thing to do, or they're going through a bad time, or have just been dumped by their boyfriend, whatever, and you
want to come across as the knight in shining armor.
But it's not. You've got to be steady. So what I've learned and what I want to carry forward, and I think this is important for any listeners, the same, is just that you've just step back a bit. Because when you're so full on, whether it's for this, you know, when you like someone and you want to show them that how much you feel for them or like them or love, you know, want to be with them, is your mind gets flustered. You get flustered. And you just end up being over the top. And that's the same with anything. If you're trying too hard in a sport, you can actually take steps backward where you're trying so hard that is actually being is having a negative impact. Where you wear yourself out physically, you're not on form. I've worn myself out mentally through this, and it is knackering. It is knackering, and as people can relate, it wears you out far more than any physical activity, because it never goes away. When you're feeling bad, it never goes away.
And tell me how you feel being a virgin. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm just to give you an example of what I'm actually saying. Does it make you feel sad? Does it make you feel ashamed? Does it make you feel lonely? Does it make you feel like you've failed? Like, how does it actually intrinsically make you feel knowing that you've never made love to a woman?
It makes me feel sad because I know I've got something I'd like to give, as in the whole relationship thing, which goes with sex eventually. But it's just, I don't feel rejected. I don't feel bitter. I just look at myself and think, well...
That is such a great thing to say.
Well, yeah, I mean, it has to be, because that guy that committed that crime, he was all these other things as well as a virgin, but just took it a step too far. And I think a lot of that was already there, but with a little push from social media. But I just, the wrong social media, but I do feel sad. And it's so easy to sit down, you know, and whack Simon and Garfunkel on and sit there feeling sorry for yourself.
Which song would be your go-to?
My go-to song for when I feel...
With Simon and Garfunkel.
It is... it's on the second... It's a song for... I think it's Emily, for Wherever I Can Find Her. And it's only about 2 minutes something long, very short. But I defy anyone to listen to that and not feel something or feel a bit sad. And I can't put that on without a tear rolling down my cheek, really.
Yeah, I go to Bright Eyes.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was on. Yeah, I haven't got that on my album, but that's
powerful.
But you listen to that, and of course, my mum. I grew up with Simon and Garfunkel, and Neil Diamond's "What a Beautiful Noise." You see, that was an early memory, and when I'm feeling bad, so sad,
put that on.
I'll go back to those days, you know, and. Yeah, Simon and Garfunkel, I listened to that, and when I was going through a really bad time, feeling lovesick and down, yeah, you listen to it for the wrong reasons, maybe, but you're listening to it. But it's so easy to go back to your childhood and a safe place. And there you go. That's where I was when I get rejected. You just sort of shut yourself away again.
So every time you get rejected, it reduces you to, you feel like a lonely, scared child again.
You feel, yeah, I mean, not in a pathetic way, but it's easy just to shut. And I know married men that shut themselves away and want a bit of time, but I don't shut myself away. I just, it's easy on a Sunday where I can just be at home on my own now.
Do you know what? I'll tell you something. There is nothing pathetic about feeling vulnerable, lonely, scared. Nothing pathetic about that at all, because everybody feels like that, but not everybody will own up to it. So it's a sign of strength if you can put your hands up and say, hey, I'm struggling and I'm feeling vulnerable, because men don't want to show that because they feel they've got so much responsibility to be macho, to keep everybody else safe and secure, that they forget about themselves. And it's important to let your crew know, hey, I'll take a bullet for you guys. I'm here for everybody, and I will be the one on the front line. And if a burglar ever comes in this house, I'm going to be the one to fuck him up. But I'm still vulnerable at times.
Yeah, that's
acknowledge that. I'm not bulletproof. I'm still human. And as much as I'm here to look after you, just give me some support as well.
You see, I feel exactly the same. I mean, I'm not short on the bravery stakes, I wouldn't say. Like my dad, who's
This is brave.
Yes, brave.
This is brave.
It's something. And my dad's very similar, actually. He was he never had a lot of relationships before he met mum. He was married before for a short time to someone else, but he doesn't walk around giving it the big un. He's not got the whole presence, but he's one of the toughest guys you'd ever meet. He's 75. He still works outside cutting trees and splitting up logs.
That's a man.
He went through cancer. There was no logging it on social media. He doesn't know how to do that anyway. But there was no big emotional scenes. It was, I'm here, I've got this. His first thing he said was, I better get my affairs in order. Because he was prepared to go. So the bravery there, I mean, the courage, yes, I suppose I'm courageous in certain ways. I'd certainly step in when there was someone in trouble or in danger, whether it's from someone else or a situation. So there's not short on that.
So your dad passed on some real good morals and ethics and traits.
Definitely.
So your dad's not the sort of man that gets regular sunbeds, has manicures, and calls in sick on a Monday because he's got a headache.
Never had any of that. No, and
because I see a lot of men like that now.
Yeah. I mean, you see them now, they ponce around okay. A fine example, let's say, is that he's always the first one out, and always was, when it snowed, digging the hill. You know where I am, and there's bloody hills everywhere. And he was the first one out.
And you're right at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, I am now, yeah. And he always the first one out there digging. He'd do all the people's paths outside their house for them. He'd be, where's everybody else? You walk up to us,
they're in the sunbed shop getting a manicure.
Or they're in a coffee shop. Dressed in their best Berghaus or something like that. They're just
well, nowadays most men are out dressed in their dress.
Yes, yeah. But that's the thing we went up the coffee shop after we'd done our job.
You earned the coffee.
We earned the coffee. We went up there, and what do you see? You see some of the local celebrities or the tough nuts, if you like, sitting there warm and cozy, waiting for the snow to thaw. It's just I wasn't brought up like that. It was right. We better get up. We better get up early, because on the forecast last night we said there was going to be snow tonight, and it's already started. Let's set our alarm a bit earlier and get up and get out of here. And that's the same with him through life, doing stuff.
And that's the same with you. And I think your traditional old school mentality is going to be a turn on for a lot of females out there.
Hopefully by this point in life, I mean, now, as like we said.
Hopefully by this point in the podcast, they're queuing up.
I can hear them pulling up outside.
There they are.
No, the fact is that it's just, you should come out naturally in a guy. I think that's just me, maybe, but it's just, you should come out naturally being like that, and believe me, I'm all for women taking on guys' roles in jobs, sport. We see
Fucking right, they should lay the bricks.
they can. I know a woman tree surgeon, a lady tree surgeon, and she is worth every penny, and she gets paid the same as guys. She's worth every penny of what she does, and it's a tough job. I've done it for a period of time in forestry with my father before. I know how tough it is. And I work with ladies from the war generation that used to come. We used to employ the local women. They'd come along and they'd all wear it must have been some shop they all went to, my nan too, bless her, wear a pinny. A checkered pinny. When it started raining, they'd have the thing that the Queen used to wear, like a kind of see-through kind of mac.
They turned up wearing a crown.
Yeah, no. But they get stuck in doing work, and they would outwork some men. So I'm all for that. But
Does that turn you on? Seeing a female rolling up her sleeves, getting stuck in, is that a turn on for you? What does turn you on? Sexually,
sexually, or just from a woman.
What's that? I mean, are you physically attracted to women? Are you sapiosexual? Are you stimulated via? Does a female's intellect make your cock twitch? What turns you on?
I prefer them with their clothes on when I see them, as in I don't go looking for it online or magazines naked. I think like we said, they make an effort, even if they're going to take the kids to school. Especially now, it seems to be like a whole thing.
But what turns you on?
How they look, how they've looked after themselves, the pride they take in themselves, and the caring side of it. Now they have a tough job to do, but they also seeing them caring with their kids. It's the whole the mothering. I don't want to be mothered, but
we all do.
Well, yeah,
we all want to.
I think they enjoy doing mothering. Yeah. So, but turns me on is. I quite like curvy women, actually, and healthy looking. I went to America and see my uncle in Los Angeles, and I hired, the sort of car that you hire when you go to California, and I went shopping with my auntie out there and got chatting to the sales assistant, and I said, I'm staying for a week. Can we grab a coffee or something? And she had quite a well-built face. I'm trying to think of somebody that's
handsome.
Yeah, she was healthy. She was.
Are you being polite, Stephen?
No, I would say she's probably a size 12. But then women change from a 12 up here to bigger down there, don't they? She was curvy, long blonde hair. She didn't have any tattoos. She had the sort of Californian tan. Very caring. Because she had a younger brother she had to look after.
So you engaged in conversation and you learned about her.
Yeah, because that was what I wasn't out there I didn't want to. Well, yeah, I would have done if the situation arose, but I didn't go out on a coffee with her to sleep with her. But yeah, it was just engaging with her and listening to her side of things.
So you like blonde, curvaceous, caring older women.
Yeah, or maybe young ones. Now I'm getting older. I don't know, but it's certainly. I'm not into. It's funny you don't even have a specific type, but that's the type that whenever anyone says, "Have you got a type?" it sort of comes there.
Have you ever thought to yourself, "This is the sort of female that I'm attracted to, that I lust after"?
Yeah.
So is that the sort of woman that you've just painted to me? The Californian, the blonde hair, the curvaceousness.
Yeah, but in this country, I mean, you see them. You see some celebrities that are quite a healthy weight. I don't mean fat. I don't. But they just.
You don't like them stick thin.
No, not stick thin, and obviously I don't. Obesity's some people can help it. Some people have to fight it, and that must be such a tough thing. But yeah, I mean, someone that looks after themselves in a physical sense, eating, making an effort to eat right. Because if you're looking after yourself, they've got to look after their family, and just respect for yourself is I guess the word I'm looking for. Because
you're
respect for yourself.
You're more sexually aroused by the personality traits as opposed to the physical appearance.
No, I look at their ass. Let's face it.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you
I'm
do.
prizing it out here.
Yeah, well, it's just this whole innocence thing, isn't it? It's just, am I, I don't want to come across as arrogant or a bit of a pervert, but yeah, we all look. I mean, women look at men, don't they? They say that women first look at their men's crutch area or something is the first thing a woman looks at.
I'll have to ask my missus. What did you notice first about me, babe? Was it my huge cock draped down the inside of my shorts?
Oh, I didn't thank you for that bag of peas down there, but no, it's just yeah. I do. Yeah, you look at someone and think, nice, and I think they would be quite thankful for it, and not thankful. That sounds desperate.
It depends how you let them know.
They appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, and I have done that with ladies that I
paid them a compliment.
Paid them a compliment. People they've already, with someone, if we're at a wedding or a do. And you just say, it's even happened down the gym, some time back. But you see them, and say, I think they look great on you.
Can I just confirm before we go any further about the huge cock joke? That was I don't want to pretend I've got something that I haven't. It's, it's average at best, and
I could see it was playing on your mind.
Yeah, I was thinking, I can't be putting out on the internet I've got a huge cock because I'm known for my honesty, and that would just be totally wrong. So average at best, and it belongs to somebody.
Yeah, it's not what you got; it's how you use it, isn't it? They say that's one thing.
It's a fucking good job. That's the case.
But no,
and we need to get you using yours.
Well, yeah, I mean, everything. Like I say, everything works, and that's one of the things is when you're getting especially since I hit 40, nearly 4 years ago, and that's when I was really feeling bad. I wasn't feeling great physically. I think I was a bit run down with work was the main thing, and obviously the feelings I had were wearing me out. So I guess at 40, since then, it's kind of plays on your mind a lot more.
Do you watch porn?
I have done, but I'll be totally honest. Since it's never been very often. I don't feel good. Doesn't make me feel good.
It doesn't make you feel
good.
No, it's especially if it's something that's lacking in your life. Just when you think about it, and just very quickly, did you masturbate whilst watching porn?
I think I have done. Yeah, I mean, why else are we? Well, a question for every lad out there is why do you watch it? It's a sense of relief. You don't just watch it just to sit there. No one sits there watching a full-length movie of it, I'm sure, without doing anything. Physically, I can't say, and I don't see the point in watching it at all, really. But we're guys, whether you're like me or a bloody stud, whatever. I mean, the worst offenders.
You have got studly qualities, Steve.
The worst offenders, if you can call it that, I've seen are the guys who are already in a relationship. Not married ones, actually. It's just, it's the funniest thing.
I don't watch porn.
No.
Particularly because I'm in a relationship. And I think if you want to ruin your sex life, the first thing you do is tune into porn. That's
the thing. And especially for me, I consider myself, as we spoke, quite rounded and aware and not socially awkward, which is one of the things that totally befuddles why I'm sitting here talking about this now. But the thing is that when you watch that, if you're a bit secluded, shut yourself away, or a youngster, then let's reach out to anyone who is in their years of just getting into drinking and going out, where the peer pressure is much bigger than what I've experienced now. Is that stuff will give you the totally wrong perception of lovemaking.
Yes.
That's not lovemaking.
No.
Even if it's titled as lovemaking, it's not. It's just how to. It's just, and I've had females saying this to me is like, oh, the guy just wants to, slam you about, do you as hard as possible. It still sounds like it's his gratification. So and that puts me off. I immediately hear, or whenever I've seen that, switch it off, or go back into my thoughts and think, well, at least you're not like that. You're not going to be like that. And
totally
wouldn't
agree.
want with anyone. Okay, I guess when you're in a relationship, whatever you do behind closed doors is different when it's just you two, and someone might like something, both might like something, to do something. That's fine. But then you're both consenting, I would hope. And it's terrible when you hear that then one's not. So I can't do that. And it's opened my eyes when you read more and more in the newspapers now about online porn is affecting youngsters.
It's absolutely frying their brain, giving them a completely warped perception of what making love actually is. And again, I don't only not watch porn because I'm in a relationship, and a healthy relationship, you have to have a healthy sex life. It brings you closer, you connect. It takes you to the next level.
Oh yeah.
But nowadays, yes, all about you've got some fucking great big geezer with a chopping great big dick that resembles a horse, and he's trying to ram it as far down the woman's throat as possible, so she's gagging and choking and being sick all over his nuts. And you think, who the fuck watches this shit? Who's tuning into this crap? And then youngsters that are watching it thinking that's the norm.
That's the norm.
They're going to be comparing their manhood to these great big dicks. It's going to make them feel inferior. But then they're going to take some girl home from a nightclub or wherever they meet, and all of a sudden they're going to start trying to put the whole length of their dick down their throat because they've seen it on a porno film. But in our day, I mean, I can totally see why you're anti-porn. The way that the way it's filmed and produced now, it's just fucking weird, and it's just so far from reality. It's unreal. But in the 80s porn, where there was pubic hair and there was real bosoms, and they actually the role play was that they was making love, like
they was
back in the day. I don't know, the Nina Hartleys, all the big famous.
Ron Jeremy, wasn't it? Ron Jeremy
turned out to be quite the bad man. I don't know.
Did he? I don't know.
He's sitting in jail currently.
Is he now?
He wasn't just satisfied with like having sex with thousands of women
that
were consenting and getting paid for it on set. He also wanted to have sex with women that didn't want to have sex with him off set. It's like, fuck me, mate. Yeah. That is greedy.
Yeah, I mean,
slow down.
Because the older guys that are slightly older than you and I that were down the gym, that was whenever we were chatting about stuff, it was like they'd mention someone. Oh yeah, it's like Ron Jeremy. Like today, you'd say it's like Katie Price or something like that. I don't know, but yeah. So
Ron Jeremy, John Holmes, all of that, all ended very badly for him. That industry all ended up with great big, mental health problems, drug problems.
I've seen a documentary on it, and where they took. I think one of the guys may have been celibate. They took him out there I think it's to America, it's probably it's the San Fernando Valley where they film it just outside LA. I did not go out there while I was visiting. It's just where they do it. But the thing is that they took this guy out there and they spoke to a female porn star, and she said what she went through. And they were hoping that he would change, him and someone who was quite a bit of a ladies' man, a stud, watched porn.
It's not as glamorous as it would appear on screen, is it?
No, and a lot of it isn't. I mean, you got the whole thing with feeling insecure, which, yes, I suppose I am insecure in that sense. But now you've got lads out there you've got women with body shaming, and you've got these women out there that are celebrities and social media stars that are coming across as everything's perfect for their bodies and their breasts. They're having, everything's got to be right. And same with guys, isn't it? You got guys that are taking juice left, right, and centre,
growth hormone.
And
tanning injections.
Yeah, I mean, we had guys that we used to train around when we started down the gym that were big lads, and obviously had experimented, but there was. That's where it stopped, really. It was just to get big, but now it's the whole thing, isn't it? They do that. They go out. You can see how many big guys are out there. The young guys, they're much bigger than what we were.
I wonder if they watch porn.
Well, that's it. I mean,
we've gone from porn to now talking about people down the gym. How do we get there?
They're not probably not virgins. These guys, they're a pretty good-looking bunch of lads when you see them out and about. But that can all pressurize somebody like me or a younger person, is to think that that's the way you've got to be to attract somebody, or be attractive. And also because we've got this whole Only Way is Essex, this whole one up in Newcastle, whatever that was, as some reality thing. You've got these lads going round, looking the same to me, and you've got these women looking the same, and you've got them round these parts looking the same, and you just think,
You think it's knocking people's confidence that don't look like that?
yeah, and it makes you more difficult to maybe get noticed or have and materialism. This is all relative to what we're chatting about. Materialism, where you've got to have this, you've got to have that. You've got to be perceived as doing well. If you're a virgin and you're a quiet person, and you're expected to have all this, the woman or the guy is expecting the female or the guy to have all this stuff. It's almost like a kit.
It's like it's expected now.
Yeah, it's almost like you've got to have this equipment to go out before you can go out. Even on a night out, you've got to have all this equipment before you can even go for a drink up the road, before you're even going to get noticed.
And the fact that we now live in a throwaway society,
that's even
where
worse. Yeah,
you fall out with your partner. It's like, okay, I'll just go on Tinder and I'll find another you.
I've been on a dating site. I've had a look around. I'm not,
Which ones have you been on?
I went on to, first one. I think it was two actually. There's Plenty of Fish. You looked on there, and was
there plenty?
There was plenty of married people on there. There's plenty of people in relationships, but it was plenty of people on there. And
that's something that you wouldn't even engage in.
I must admit, I messaged a couple of women on there, but then I was quite a bit younger, going back before it was playing.
I mean, were the married women for you off limits, or did you even know they was married?
Well, I didn't know, because in their profile, I wouldn't have even clicked on the married option. If there is the, are you in a relationship? I guess you click things, what you filter, don't you? You filter what you want to look at.
I've never been on one.
Never,
ever.
Well, it's like everything else. Like when you're doing your car insurance, you filter what car you got, what mile. It's like
compare the datingapp.com.
It's that. It is that. It's a meat market. It's all those phrases.
Did you give it? Because I know people that have really found love on dating sites.
I know people that are married from it, but they were from. They had to pay a fair bit of money. I think it was one of these membership ones that you paid, and you got the good. You could really filter it out. I think they were professional.
If you find love, it's money well spent.
It was professional websites, and I've seen them. I read the Times newspaper. I'm not being a snob, but it's quite good. It was quite up there. And certainly in the weekend supplements, you get some specialised kind of dating sites for the professionals. You probably have to earn over a certain amount.
So how did you? So these dates. So this is interesting because I think if I wasn't in a relationship and I was 44 years of age or nearly 44 years of age and I'd never had sex before, and I thought my time was running out, my options were running out, and my ability to meet new people was running out because, we're not going to go to nightclubs now, are we? Couldn't think of anything worse. So
no, I can't.
You're limited as to where you can meet a female to build something lustful and worthy with. So dating site would have to be an obvious option to keep persevering with it. So what was your relationship with these dating sites? Because you've dipped your toes in, but how far into them did you go, and why did you stop? Why aren't you actively on them now?
I felt totally uncomfortable. I've just felt it was disingenuine. And as we say about me being, you describe me as being genuine. And I think we spoke earlier on as we were walking into the gym that they're just not. Like everyone's a model or an entrepreneur. Now, an entrepreneur, I know entrepreneurs, and these people just aren't. They're just throwing out names out there to attract attention. It's false advertising for a start. And when you're, as I am, that's about the worst thing you can come against.
But you don't have to advertise yourself falsely.
No, I don't have to advertise myself falsely at all. And but it comes down also, Liam, to stubbornness. I am stubborn. Pig-headed, adamant, as my dad would call me. I am adamant that I want to meet someone a traditional way. We come from an age group that just about had that where you were. Well, we did, didn't we? We didn't have this when we were up until probably mid-20s, I don't know, early 20s. Traditional. And when I have enjoyed and engaged with someone and felt a connection, whether it was just for the conversation and that evening, it was, what's the word? Organically?
Yeah.
It was just
Absolutely.
as my parents met, as we were when we were teenagers, just starting going out drinking. It had to be that way, and I'm being stubborn because
And I love that. I've never been on a dating site,
no,
but I do. I think I would maybe think to myself, I'd look at all my options and think maybe I need to move with the times to get laid.
and
So
people
so I totally get where you are.
people have mentioned that to me.
So you need to be, if you want to meet somebody a traditional way, you either need to go back to pubs, but then again, we're going to be the oldest swingers in town, or you need to start you need to be in supermarkets for fucking hours at a time, possibly a library, sort of places where you don't really want to be chilling.
No, loitering.
Yeah.
So, no,
Steve,
I mean,
you're returning more books again.
I mean, I don't think it's going to work. Me being Arnie was an idol, still is to a point. Mr. Schwarzenegger, he's an important man in both our lives to a point, I would say. But
What do you think Arnold Schwarzenegger would be saying to you right now? Because that geezer's had a lot of pussy.
Yeah,
That man has got a good fuck in him, and I know that because it's well documented.
Yeah, I got the book, and also since he's been on his own or since the divorce, he's been a lot more open. But to start off, what I was saying there was the first film I watched with him was Twins, because it was I think it was the only film he was making that was family entertainment at the time. And I saw this guy on what was TVAM back there, where they had a guy come on or a lady come on, did the film review. The latest film that come out, and it happened to be we had the news on, and I was at primary school. I was probably 8, 9, and I said, "God, look at that guy!" It's where they showed a clip where he lifted this guy off the ground and then threw him into a lift. And I said, "Who's that man?" to my dad, and he goes, "Oh, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's Mr. Universe. He's about 17 stone of muscle." And I was gripped, And I watched the whole movie not far far later, probably in summer holidays with my mate James, who you know as well. And he's a bit older. He rented the video. Now, going out meeting people, where do you do that? I don't think it's going to work. Me fantasizing about standing there reading a porno mag, and then suddenly a tall blonde standing there that he bumps into in the movie. It's just. But that was, again, it was a kind of organic meeting. It was done a natural way where a man talks to a woman, no computers, no phones around. It's being stubborn from having something from a young age where I want to go and meet someone the way everyone else does. It's kind of a bit like, it's childish, but I want to meet people, women, or how my friends met them.
I'm trying to connect. What's the correlation between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Twins and meeting a woman?
It's just like, I don't think it's, you mentioned about loitering in Sainsbury's
I see.
forever. I mean,
and you're referencing a scene from the film.
Yeah, I'm not going to be standing there reading a.
Right, I'm with you. Okay.
Do they still put pornos on the shelves? I don't know, but
I don't know. I'd imagine there'll be some shops on the top shelf. You've got Mayfair or Razzle or Fiesta, one or the other.
But saying that movie was very innocent in the way that he was an older virgin. In the movie.
Oh, right. I'm now.
You see what I mean? He was there.
That went right over my head. Of course. What was his name in the film?
Julius.
Twins. Julius was a big 40-year-old virgin.
Even younger than he was younger than me or something at the time. But he was and
and he was big and he was handsome.
Yeah. See, I've been working on that bit. But yeah, I mean, the fact was he was a nice guy, rounded guy.
Well, you are quite handsome.
Thank you. I don't rate I don't rate myself, but particularly. But then,
well, you don't think that because your confidence has been knocked because you've been rejected, and it's now compounded when that's one thing. Got to be the first thing that you need to swipe out of your mind.
Yeah. Now, anyone
fresh start
who's watching and listening to this you've got something there that someone would find attractive in your persona and in your manner, and that's the thing is.
And can you do me a favour? Tell yourself that.
Yeah,
remind yourself that you've got. I mean, I've given you a list of things that you've got to offer. So take them and soak that all up.
I've got the best bunch of friends who, are supportive. I've told probably half a dozen people.
Have you had any friends offer you their wife for the night? Say, go on, mate, have a go on that.
No, not absolutely.
Well, they're not real friends.
No, they're not.
Fuck them.
I know. There's we just. One of my mates we know, he's a lovely guy, and he's. I don't like being touched. You know, if someone suddenly comes up behind you and goes, "Oh, I like that," you know, I hate it. I freeze. Probably very few people that gets away with that because I know him, and he go, "Yeah, because you're a good-looking lad." He sort of throw it in now and again, and yeah, okay, I'm not ugly. I wouldn't say I'm ugly, but certainly I feel like my attractiveness is more inside, not being seen at the moment, and that's
Well,
where
hopefully,
yeah.
but this podcast, it will be seen.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, but I hope it draws other people out to see if they know someone who may not know they're celibate, but they have an idea or think they probably are or are shy, is try and draw something out of them. Like Liam's drawn a lot out of me today. My friends draw the best out of me.
And are you pleased that I mean, you reached out to me and I was reluctant to accept because I know that you're a friend, and it's very I've never seen anybody have the courage to basically to tell their story like you have today.
It took a lot to get to this point because I wanted to do something, but it would have just sounded like a pitiful whinge, I think, if you're doing it on your own. So I wouldn't have done that. But I deleted the first voice note, as I said, I sent to you, and left it a good few days before I thought, well, is there anything in it? It just sounds like me trying to give a bit of a sob story. I'm not doing this for fame. I'm not doing it for money. It's a way of talking because when you felt as bad as and had dark thoughts.
Talk to me about your dark thoughts,
Yeah.
because I'm sure there's been times where you've thought, what's this all about? Is it worth it anymore? And I'm talking about life.
That's the thing is life is precious, and you have people around you that love you, and you have a lot to live. Everyone has a lot to live for. You make what you make out of what you're given, and it's up to you to develop that. And when you feel that dark, and I remember it very clearly. Obviously, it wasn't years ago. You feel trapped, and when you hurt that much, love hurts. When you hurt that much, and you just feel like the years of it building up, you don't think there's anything left. And I come from a loving family, so to have thoughts like that, and I've got loving friends.
And when you say thoughts like that, could you just compound on that?
Well,
elaborate on what these thoughts are.
I guess I had the ultimate thought of ending it with suicide. So a lot of people say, "Oh, I feel suicidal," and yeah, I could have killed myself, and I'm going to kill myself because he's left me. And I've heard that, people saying that, but I don't think they meant it, because it was more of a shout for help. I wasn't doing it for a shout for help, because once you've done it, there's no help left. There's no help after it.
No.
And I mean, I had it all planned out, really, which is tough to. I couldn't have spoken about this even at Christmas. It's just you have some dark thoughts, and you plan things, and you think, well, what am I going to leave behind? The business. It's funny. Stupid thing was, the first thing I thought about was, who's going to tell the clients that I'm not going to turn up the next day? That comes from being probably a bit of a workaholic, but it was just like letting people down.
It also comes from a person that cares.
Yeah, it's letting people. I don't like letting people down, and that's why you're planning things, and you want everything tied up, no loose ends.
What was you? So you wanted to commit suicide. You wanted to commit suicide.
Yes, I mean,
genuinely wanted to.
That's where I thought it was. Yeah, I mean, I can't. You see, my mum and dad, they're not on social media at all. I mean, it'd be heartbreaking if they saw me heartbroken.
They saw you heartbroken.
They saw me heartbroken. So they knew that you was.
They
never would have associated suicide. Although my dad, as I found out, was worried about me. But we've got a funny relationship, my dad.
So he was visibly depressed.
Visibly, yeah. I mean, I hid it a lot. I was unhappy. I don't even. Yeah, the word depressed. I don't really think it's in my vocab. I kind of frown upon because it's so over. Everyone's, today we've got all this a lot of people overplay it and use it for attention, whatever. But it is a serious thing if you really got it, I guess. And I had some dark thoughts, I suppose.
I would say somebody that was actually planning to end their life. And did you think of a method that you was going to?
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. I planned everything out, so it was.
Just talk me through that.
I wanted to do it cleanly, as painlessly as possible. And that's the thing is when
which was how?
Which was in asphyxiation in a car.
Okay.
Because I've got an affinity with cars. I love cars. I feel comfortable driving. It's one of the skills that I have in life that I don't worry about having. I was very good. I'm good at driving. I can do all sorts of things with a car. I used to skid around when I was younger. I could drive from the age of 11. Very comfortable driving.
You won't be a very good driver when you're dead.
Very peaceful in a car. I can drift off in my own world when I'm driving, even if it's between job to job. Happy driving, happy sitting in my car. That's where I wanted to be when it happened. Radio on at night in a quiet place. And
Simon and Garfunkel playing?
I don't know. I had that all sorted. Yeah,
I'm making light of it because
it is a dark thing.
It's a dark thing, and I think it's
there's no way back from that.
No, there is no way back. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem, and we can make light of it now. And I don't want you to revisit that dark place because you're talking about it again.
Yeah.
Hence why I said
it's a great repellent if you're talking about it because I don't want people out there looking at me thinking, "Are you okay?"
But you want people to know that you understand them because you're on here. You're not just on here for you. You're on here for other people.
No, because you read about, and when you feel like that you have those thoughts, you start thinking, you start researching it, of course, and Google. It doesn't have to Google far before you see somebody's committed suicide over.
How close do you think you were to suicide, realistically?
Well, that's the thing is, I don't know. You get prepared and you go and drive off and to do it, but it's you don't know you're going to do it until you do it, do you?
Did you have the?
I had the equipment.
You had the equipment ready to go
in the car. It was in the car for about a fortnight.
Was it a hose pipe?
Screw fix job, yeah. Duct hose, bit like that aircon. Just some clips, hose clips.
Did you speak to anybody about this? How you felt?
No. So
you had these suicidal thoughts. You bought all the equipment that could have ended your own life, and you didn't tell a soul.
No, I just thought, well, it's because I was quite unhappy at a time where business was building up as well, and doing well, and I was on the way to get my own place, and that's the thing. Is you never know how close you are to something. It's they're trying to think of an example is like you sort of like reaching for something on the shelf and you're patting your hand around at the top of the shelf and you're like, oh damn it, I can't find it, and you realise your hand was about an inch to the left of it.
Yeah, and the danger of having suicide equipment on you at all times when you're feeling suicidal is if you get that impulsive feeling, it's done.
It's done, and but to say,
so is it best not to carry suicide equipment around with you if you just don't do it?
No, don't do it. And I mean,
there's other ways, isn't there, to deal with problems. There are other ways of dealing with it before you end your life.
Yeah, because my grandmother committed suicide, which is what stopped me.
Your nan committed suicide?
No, not my nan, my grandmother on the other side. So I didn't know her that well, but she was my mum's mum. My nan I loved was my dad's mum.
Okay.
So the thing was my mum's real mum, I say that because she was adopted after by her grandparents, was she committed suicide. And I think that would have been, I thought, it's the people you leave behind, isn't it? Now, I should imagine there's other people out there that have had suicidal thoughts that haven't gone and bought the equipment, but we've all thought about it, or we've maybe known someone that's done it. And you just
Well, the older you get, the more people you know or hear of that has.
Well, you live more, you see more.
They've gone. Yeah,
you
yeah,
live more.
totally.
Yeah, and I think there was someone fairly recent in town that did it. But yeah, it was drifting off. I just wanted to drift off peacefully. That's how bad I felt. And
what was the turn? What was the turning point that made you realise that you've got a nice life that's worth living? Where was that moment where you just snapped out of it and thought, hang about the hose pipe, the duct tape, everything that I've got in the boot of the car ready to kill myself, I need to put that in the bin. What was that moment?
It could have boiled down to you weren't really serious about it in the first place, as much as you bought that stuff, but you've gone through all the thought process. But then you do. It was the selfishness of because we had a customer come in our yard, and Dad and I were chatting to them, and I thought about all this while I was having these dark thoughts, and he said, we know someone we live near Beachy Head, and they have someone up there all the time, like what is it, a brother or something. There's up there all the time, Samaritan that tries to stop people from jumping. And my dad said, yeah, because that is a selfish act. And I just thought about that.
So that hit a chord.
Yeah. And also in between feeling like this, having the equipment, but driving around with it there, maybe for another few days, I'd have a good few days busy with work. And you just think, you've got a lot to, as what I said about earlier, you don't know how close you are to something. And that's it.
You also, obviously, you never realise how special you are to other people, and I can tell you now categorically, if we was to wake up one day and realise that Stephen Kinnard no longer existed, there'd be a lot of broken hearts, there'd be a lot of tears, and there would be a lot of irreversible damage and a lot of heartache because you would be missed by a lot of people. You would be missed by a lot of people.
Yeah, I guess that's although sometimes you didn't think like that. That's what I can be honest about, is you don't think like that. And
well, you lose your self-worth and your self-belief, didn't you?
You do, for only momentarily.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
If you're that close to doing it, that's all it takes.
Momentarily, but yeah, I mean, there's an inner stubbornness, and I feel like I've got a lot to do in work and things I want to achieve, and that's being the goal setter that I am. I took a life coaching course in 2006-7, and I did it to help other people. I ended up helping me out, because I always had goals I wanted to do, never knew how to go about them. And that helped an awful lot, where you think, well, you've got this far, you've done it on your own.
And you've got to remember that, to put it bluntly, you're never going to lose your virginity if you're dead, and you cannot help anybody if you're dead.
No. And
please.
No, that's it. And I'd say to anybody out there.
Is that thought, do you think, securely in the past, locked away, never to return?
No, that's not going to return, because it's. I've got my own place now, Liam. I've got a great circle of friends, and I'm not even sure these days. We've got all these forms of communication. People have got hundreds of friends on Facebook or whatever.
What gets better than this?
Yeah, that's all you need.
Face to face, no phones, an honest conversation.
I know that I can phone. I phone my friends. We voice note because you're busy and I'm busy, and but I phone my friends and make sure that we have a chat. I go round to my other mates, knock on their door, often on a Sunday. I say, "Are you about? We'll have a coffee." I go and see a friend who went through a lot of trouble years ago, was addicted and things, and what a sweet fellow, really great guy. And there's all these people you sort of realise I really would miss we call it our gentleman's club here, and I go over to his house and we have a dinner and stuff on a Saturday, and we chat, and he taught me the drums.
You can serenade your new prospect.
I'd be like Animal.
You can go Keith Moon on her.
Yeah. Well, I bought the kit. I'd be more like Animal out of Sesame Street. It'd be awful, but yeah, I mean, you feel like I know now what I've got to live for, and I've got my own place, and that's a great thing. As I said to you earlier, is having the confidence to now I can bring someone home. Say, would you like to come round for a drink? Or we end up there after a day out. I've got a garden to sit in.
Perfect.
I can cook. But I'm just making it homely. I'm not making
You're great. Women like good company.
Yeah, that's the
They
thing.
don't want to sit there with a mute. You can look like Joey Essex. If
Yeah.
you've got nothing to say, nothing to offer, you're not going to stimulate their mind, and they're going to switch off pretty soon.
Yeah.
You are a very good conversationist. You're interesting. You're interested. You're a good package, and you need to remember that if you're ever feeling low again, and fucking call me.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, I know that you've mentioned this to me before. We touched base just out there on my patio.
I think that's the first time I did.
Yeah, the first time you told anybody?
Yeah, well, about the final act, as it can be called. Well, actually, you are the second. The first I told her, and shocked, yes, but I wondered how it had an impact on you, because you've seen a lot of things in life.
Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm no stranger to darkness and trauma.
I thought, well, you said it's going to be dark, it's going to be truthful, and I said, well, we want to talk about that. And
there's no point coming onto a podcast to set yourself free and pretend it's more pleasant than what it is. It's been horrible. It's been lonely. You felt genuinely suicidal. You had it all prepared. But since then, you've taken steps. You've now got your own place. You're taking steps. You're progressing. And that thought is left behind.
Yeah.
And you've boxed it away. We don't need to open that box ever again. So from here, where do we go from here? Is there a roadmap? Are you now going to strive to meet a female, forge a relationship, and lose your virginity? Are you going to put effort into that? Because being stubborn and locking yourself away for 3 years, thinking, well, I got rejected, and I'm going to, so I'm going to become sort of reclusive for 3 years. You're just not going to meet someone, and you're not going to get laid that way. Getting laid is a flippant term. You're never going to make love to someone special if you're not putting yourself out there, saying, "Hey, I'm not hiding away from it. I want love. I need love. I want to meet someone. Come and speak to me."
The dating sites were something you've touched on there. Now I have seen. Now I'm at a level where I'm earning quite good money. I'm got a business. I got independence, but I am bloody busy, as you know. You're burning a candle at both ends there, and in between. That's on my mind. Then I start talking myself out of it. Oh, well, who's going to tolerate my work pattern? But when I spend time with somebody, whether it's a friend or a would be, in a romantic situation, I'd like to put everything, give them my full attention. I think it would be more quality rather than quantity.
You can't give anybody your full attention, because your attention needs to go in other areas to make the relationship more solid.
Yeah, because you can't, when I had...
And the right person will support you.
Yeah. Now, when I had a very caring friend who supported me through where I was living, I was renting a room out, and she's supportive. We used to call it my thing, which is what you said earlier. Is it becomes a thing, virginity, and
exactly.
it was classed as my thing.
And I think this is what. Sorry to cut you off, but I think we're sat here today talking about you being an incel, which is what people are going to say in the comments. You're a virgin at nearly 44 years of age. I think that is because there was rejection at a certain age. Maybe your first, second attempt to interact with a human and bond in a sexual capacity. Your confidence was knocked, and then that manifested into a thing, and it's become a thing, and it's put blockers on you from doing certain things, reaching out, making eye contact, doing things that people do, body language. You've stunted your own growth in being having like a sexual presence and an aura about you.
You kind of have given up,
and because you've not spoke about it.
No,
it's been even more suppressed, and I think it's become a thing. Whereas it didn't need to be a thing.
No, I don't burden my friends with it, because when I spend time with them, I told them I don't want it kind of like almost vying for attention. But it's just nice being in their company. But when I was we was referred to as my thing, and I used to talk to someone about it, I had nothing really. I'd left my job that I was in for years, very steady, but worked my way up. Just bought my horse. Then I went and hurt my back. I was laid up for 3 months. Didn't see anybody all day long some days because I was laid up.
You need to find a woman that likes to go on top.
But when you're laying there, you're mulling things over, and that's all you've got.
Oh.
Yeah, I was running out of money. I couldn't see a way out. Confidence was knocked that I couldn't think I could go and get a job again because I didn't. Around people, I was, a wreck really. I dug myself out of that. I've always wanted to run my own firm, and so there I started. Going on a dating, so which is when I went on the dating site. I had nothing really to offer. Me, yeah, but I had no real income, as a lot of people who are starting their own business haven't. You're running on fumes sometimes. I had no kind of provisions to take anybody out, so there's not a great basis. But now, and this is where people listening should take
Notice of
heed.
this. Yeah.
Work your way out of it. There's no other way. Hard work. If you're in a position, a job you're unhappy about, find an alternative. There's no excuses today. With you got a plethora of it on the internet. You can make money sitting at home and going out, making it. You can find ways of developing as a person. Like I said, I took the life coaching thing. That was correspondence where, pen and paper back actually then. Develop yourself. I've developed myself to a point now where I said to you this morning, I couldn't have done this a few months ago. I've developed yourself into something. Everyone's got something that they're good at and a quality, and work on that. Other people will support you. My friends were so supportive when I told them. Now I told a friend's wife, who was my mate's wife, but she's as much of a mate as him also, almost. Where she is. She kept that, bless her, to herself for 3 years before my mate, who was a really good, one of my best mates, knew. And because he only knew because I told him. I told two of my best mates at the same time. And I said to Andrew, when I said to him about it, they were like, no, that's all right, mate. That's well, why didn't you tell us sooner? And you don't.
Because people will give you idea. People will give you. People will remind you of where your strengths lay.
Yeah.
Build your confidence, and they'll also get. We can't all do it alone.
You can't do it, no, and that's stubborn. Be thinking I'd like to do everything on my own. I just, I do. Well, I do it. I live on my own. I do my own cooking, my own shopping, washing, ironing. I occasionally get a cleaner in. That's that in that sense independent, yes, but with this you need the support of your friends and even work colleagues. You might have a work colleague that's a good support system. I had an incredible boss who I never told this to, but he just seeing him operate made me want to be around him and develop as a person. I developed within that company. And that pushed me on whenever I thought, well, I am what I am, but I've got a good job and I'm developing. Now that can be easily be lost when you are dark thoughts.
I think what you've just said there absolutely nails it. If you want to become more desirable as a man, you need to level up. Yeah. And also, if you want to start fancying yourself, you've got to level up. If you want to like what you see in the mirror, you've got to level up. You've got to turn up to work. You've got to build a better frame. You've got to build a better mindset. You've got to take care of yourself. Give up bad habits. Incorporate new ones. Start new ones. Get a new hobby. Put yourself in the place where the good luck will find you. And then it's amazing, the law of attraction. You start believing in yourself, and you think you're the man. You are the man. People will feel that shit.
It is the secret.
That is the secret.
Yeah.
That really, really is. So I'm so glad you said that, because it's coming from somebody that hasn't yet broke their cherry.
Well, no, I've got to look forward to it in a way.
And do look forward to it, because it's a beautiful thing, and it's going to happen. A lot of people are going to be watching this, and the word prostitution is going to come up.
It's come up.
People are gonna want to know, okay, you've gone 44 years and you've never, ever, ever, I'm gonna be crude, you've never, ever, ever slid your hard dick inside a warm, wet, cozy vagina. And when you love someone and you do that, it feels like home. So people are gonna think, because people won't be able to understand this, because some people just live for that. That's it. A lot of people, that's just their driving force.
Yeah.
They haven't got a balance. So have you ever considered sleeping with a prostitute, or even getting a wank off one?
No, if I was to do it, it'd be the full way.
Good man.
And yeah, because why get a dog when you and bark yourself? I could do that myself. But the thing is that
Are we
Okay.
referring to your right hand as the dog?
Yeah, I get. Oh no, it's why you can masturbate with a man or woman yourself. I'm not going to get some stranger in to do that. Whereas I'd rather, if you're going to do it, you go the full act. But I
And
would.
have you considered having sex with a prostitute?
You mould it over. I've moulded it over, and I think a couple of people's friends I've mentioned have said it.
When you thought about
Yeah.
sleeping with a prostitute, did you look at the price list and think, fuck that?
No, I didn't think of that. I just thought of it as what's, you've kept yourself the way you are, not for a religious belief. It's just the way it's worked out. Now you wanted the first time to be special. What am I going to get out of this? And am I going to feel what I've been looking for afterwards? And I wouldn't.
So you're not just looking for an orgasm, are you?
No, you're just looking for someone that having been in love, and you've been in love.
Because a lot of people haven't got a great deal of substance or a great deal of depth. Now I'm very similar. I don't.
You are romantic.
I don't have sex with my cock. I have sex with my heart.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
If that isn't in line, that won't even work. So I get that, but a lot of men, they've got that Neanderthal. They're fueled with testosterone, and their dick's just an extension of them, and they will fuck anything and anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere. They're loaded up and they're ready. So some people will think he must be mad. He's not lost his virginity, and he's not called a prostitute round for a couple of £100. Why not?
No.
So this is the reason. This is what makes you very, very interesting, and what's going to make the event special.
That's the thing, and I'm not going to sit here going, oh, I've got standards. I'm not dropping my standards, because I've heard that from people, and you just see their standards, and you think, well, you've just dropped them. There's people out there that say, oh, I'm married and that's it for me, and then the next thing they're having an affair. It's just okay. You're not happy. You maybe feel like you deserve more. But I am also scared of hurting someone's feelings, which I need to get away from. Is that you might not get it right first time in a relationship, but I wouldn't cheat, so I know that much for sure. But it's also, being cheated on maybe would be the other thing, is because I've got to trust someone, and I've waited. I've held back or wanted it to be right, and you trust someone, and then they do the dirty on you, or something goes wrong, and that's you feel you're back at square one. I guess you would feel back, but that's part of the course. But love, to me, it is having, you want to have the intimate side of it, but you want to have that, like I said, seeing people walking down the street holding hands. And I think you put a post up of you in the cinema, see an elderly couple next to you holding hands.
Do you know what? I'm gonna mention that it was so lovely to see. So I went to a cinema. It's an old school cinema, but it's got one of them leg raises, and it's almost like being on a sofa. And they come and they serve you nuts and drinks, and it's lovely. And I went to watch a film. I fell asleep during the fucking thing, and when I woke up, the credits were rolling. But I went anyway, and as I'm at the cinema, to the right of me was an elderly couple, and I see them, and their shoulders joined initially, and I'm looking at them, I'm thinking, oh, that's nice, an older couple, they've come out on a Monday, Tuesday night, this is their date night, and then the next thing, they're in their late 60s, and they're holding hands, and I thought, that is fucking beautiful. Because a lot of youngsters nowadays, they would take that shit for granted. They wouldn't even appreciate it, because they'll just swipe right and get the next one. And there'll be no meaning in their life, and their relationships will be soulless. And you want to be the 67-year-old holding hands with your wife, don't you?
As my grandparents did, as my parents would do. It's just, for me, is that. And also the whole affection is, I have... I grew close to someone, and brushing someone's hair, not literally in the sense of brushing it with a brush.
I would offer Steve.
It's just kissing someone on the forehead. I do that with my friends who have married my mates. It's just being affectionate and caring is rubbing them on the rubbing their back, just pat their ass, tell them they look good.
You devil.
I know. Tell them they look good. There's no harm in that. That's what I want. I want the full package. I'm being selfish, because love let's say for money or love is a selfish act.
Not selfish at all.
I want, I would, isn't say I want, I would like that. But the other thing is, Liam, is that I kind of condition myself to think, well, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And then that makes you thankful for what you have got, and you can build on that. And I think that if anyone's out there that has got that level of low confidence, that you have got something to grab onto, to develop on. Once you develop confidence in something, like I said, I went horse riding. Yeah, there's more women in that than men, and they're and talking about equality, they are every bit in polo and eventing, horse riding. Women, if they're probably ballsier than men.
You should stick around that scene. Them horsey women. They
now I've got my own place. I might get back in the saddle again.
They're very affectionate, I hear.
Yeah. Rampant. No, I'd say that it's just that to share something that you're level at is why I enjoyed it. And yes, you chat to them because you're on something that you could effectively, if it goes wrong, you could die on, have an accident, get badly injured. There's a kind of an adrenaline rush, and to enjoy that with somebody, as I have with horses, is a huge thing. But to pick it, just build on something, because when the confidence comes in something else, as I'm finding now, it radiates out of you.
Do you know what?
It radiates.
Your confidence now, when we had a chat on my patio and you mentioned that you considered ending things, your confidence now and your energy that's coming off your chest into me, I can feel it. I can almost taste it. It's so nice.
That's it.
It's real nice, and it's powerful, and it has an effect on other people. So you have an impact on people, a positive one.
Yeah.
A very, very vibrant one. So you need to remember that. And remember your business now. It's up and running, it's successful.
Yeah.
You've got your work vehicle, you've got your logo, which is yourself plastered all over it. Before you had that business,
Yeah.
did you manifest that thought? Did you think to yourself, this is where I want it to be?
Well,
I'm going to have them clients there. I'm going to cover that area there. I want my logo to. Did you envisage your business before it was real? You did.
It's all planned out, obsessive planner, but also there's a whole subconscious thing of, and I learned during the life coaching sort of course I took, and watching people, watching entrepreneurs, working for them, as I still do, is you see how they've forethought what's going to happen. It don't happen by accident. You have a bit of luck. I've had luck. I didn't have luck. I didn't think I did, because I started one of the businesses, which they're both, go hand in hand. But plumb in the middle of, at the beginning of COVID, I thought, well, that's fallen flat on its face. But, it was all planned out. To the income was planned out, which I smashed, luckily. In the first few months, I smashed that. And everything I do with the horse riding, I planned out, I YouTubed, I watched things. Sometimes you can overdo it because you kind of overthink things. But yeah, everything I do, I plan out.
So before we wrap this up, and it's been a great chat, and I hope it's helped a lot of people, and I think it will do, not just people that have still got their virginity, and also people that know others that have still got their virginity, that it's not an easy ride. It's not a walk in the park. It's very, very difficult, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you've got to believe, and you just got to be patient. Patience is a virtue, and it has to be someone's virtue. But can we make a deal before we wrap this up that you from now on will manifest the thought, law of attraction, and you will start picturing yourself in a happy relationship, making love to somebody each morning, holding somebody's hand in a cinema, sharing dinner with somebody each night, and kissing somebody goodnight each and every night? Will you keep that vision in your head, that thought and that manifestation, until it happens, no matter how long it takes? Will you make a deal you'll do that?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Yes, I'd do that. I can easily do that. And it's something that I've done all throughout, from a young age, probably quite romantically. And I would say, I'm going to keep that on. I keep on that.
Keep doing that. It'll happen.
I'm not going to let, because otherwise I'll be letting myself down. And, I'm in a community, and we have other communities that are out there now that weren't maybe before, that are proud to be what they are. They may know what they are, they may not. But this is so taboo still. So I would say is good to the men and women out there, or youngsters that feel pressure like we never probably felt, is we work together on it.
And I think your community is just about to grow. Where can people find you on Instagram? What's your account called?
It's Stephen's Domestic Cleaning. I'll put it through that.
Stephen's Domestic
Cleaning, and that's me.
On Instagram, they can find you
there.
Yeah,
that's all I've got.
You're open to this. People can send you direct messages. You can discuss things with them.
Please do. Just it's just
Perfect.
Anything that you've been through, going through. If I could help one person, it saves one person. As you say, you've all got friends, or you've got family, or people that care about you. You help one person, you probably help 20, because if they decide that that's the end of it, and they're down, or those 20 people see you depressed, they don't want to see you depressed.
I can guarantee you've helped a lot more than one person, having the courage to come here today and share your story. And I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
I've really enjoyed it. And I want to say that you are the most charming, charismatic, handsome, optimistic virgin I've ever met. And I've got a funny feeling that you're not going to be a virgin for long.
Really?
I love you, mate.
Thanks very much, Liam.
And thanks for coming on. And I'll see you guys next time on the Dozen Podcast.